Sneakers and Stories, a podcast from Pint of Stuff with Mr. B and SJ.
Oh yes. So people listening out there in podcast land and on YouTube, you will not know exactly how many audio problems we've just had to try and get this going, but we've got a very special guest with us this week. We've got someone with one of the most eclectic sneaker collections that I know. I'm suddenly just rediscovered some other shoes on his Instagram account that I want to talk about when we get there. But we've got Andy on the line with us, so let me just bring Andy in there. So Andy, I suppose so you're actually on Instagram. You are, what are you? You're Andy _0.
0161.
There you go. And isn't that the...
That's the Manchester dialing code.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, that's the area code for Manchester.
I totally was like, yeah, I was that, and until this very second, that hadn't dawned on me. I know, everyone. I don't catch on very quickly, but yeah, that's very clever. That's very clever. So so as you can tell, everyone, Andy's well, or maybe not. I believe Andy's in Manchester in the UK.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Fantastic. So and I was just rebrowsing your Instagram page, and I was I've got to say, before we dive into the questions, I was reacquainting myself with the Tom and Jerry. Where are they? There we are. The Tom and Jerry.
The Reeboks.
Yes.
Do you know? I feel that was such a slept-on little do, I suppose. I think it was. Yeah, I really, really liked the collaboration they done. I don't know if it is actually a collaboration or whether they just call it I don't know. They just decided to use it as a theme. I don't think it could be a collaboration.
I don't know, because I don't think that they could use the actual Jerry mouse. And that, I don't know, it looks like, I'm looking now for people on the podcast, I'm looking on Andy's pictures now, and they look like the Reebok Tom and Jerry Club C Revenge. And when I'm looking at the tongue, where they seem to have Tom and Jerry on either one, and they look super nice. Yeah.
What I didn't realise until I'd actually bought them is this, the sole is transparent, the panda pigeons are. Yeah. It's got the picture on it, and it was yellow, and I didn't really know what it was about. So I watched a review about them, and it's meant to be cheese. So it's the cheese that they fight over.
Genius.
Which I thought was quite smart.
Yeah, that's very clever. So when we look at your page, there's clearly an eclectic collection there of shoes.
Oh yeah, there's no theme.
No. Well, the theme is, I think you love shoes.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And so, as goes, I'm going to pass the first proper question over to SJ, because there's clearly an intense love of shoes.
Yeah. So where did that love of sneakers come from?
I think it kind of started the same. I heard something you said when you did the first one about the black Reebok classics, and that's where it was for me. I come from a very large family, and my mum has 9 brothers and sisters. There's a lot of them, so I have a lot of cousins. And each Christmas, as the family grew, and you couldn't keep up with buying everybody presents. So the way they all decided to do it was your mum and dad would buy you your present, and then they would buy you another one and class that one as off the family. So I pestered them for the black Reebok classics, because everybody I knew had these Reebok classics and I wanted them. And I remember when I got them, I must have been about, I don't know, probably about 9 or something. I remember stunting on all my cousins outside when I had them, how it made me run faster, how I could turn faster. It gave me just better skills, and I could jump on walls better because it gave me new skills. And yeah, I think it kind of came from that. I remember that was it, the black Reebok classics.
Amazing.
And they were really bouncy from what I remember.
Yeah, they were really, really comfortable.
Yeah.
That's funny. So
were yours the high tops, or were they the
low tops?
The low ones, yeah. Okay.
And I remember feeling really sad because all I wanted to do was wear them, so I wore them for everything. I could get away with wearing them at school. So I'd wear them for school, I'd wear them after school, I'd wear them for football. I remember feeling sad when they started to fall apart.
That's funny.
That's funny. It's funny how the Reebok Classic has brought so many people into shoes.
Well, I think it's a good staple UK shoe. That I think around the world how they all have that kind of thing. I think in them days, in like the 90s, the black Reebok Classic was the staple UK shoe. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so. At that time, for sure.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Someone I know in New York, because it wasn't a staple for them, he's kind of obsessed with the classic Reebok to the point where he will go and like it's weird because I never think of looking for them in sneakers stores, but over there he will hunt them down. So shout out to Brian in Brooklyn if you're listening.
I'm not actually sure how popular they'd be, really. I don't really see. I mean, I have friends in America, but I don't really see very many different styles of Reebok on them. I mean, obviously they must do, but yeah, I don't really see a lot of people from America are actually wearing Reebok.
Well, actually, now you've said that, I'm just thinking, and I can't actually ever remember seeing any in a store out there.
No.
Can you? Not even in like Foot Locker or anywhere.
No. It's
strange.
Don't have Adidas, Converse, Vans, but yeah, I really cannot see any Reebok.
It's bizarre.
It's something I've not even actually considered that up until this point just now.
Yeah. No, I know. It's so that's what we need to do. I think we need to set up an import-export business that is importing rare Reeboks that we can get down at JD and take them back over. In fact, I think this was done, but I'm sure this is not an original idea. This is definitely no. I'm sure Danny and Lance from the Annex were talking about this, but no. So it started at Reeboks, and specifically Reebok Classics. But if you like, what was?
How did that evolve?
Yes, thank you, SJ.
Well, I suppose it started with them when I was in school. When I left school, I was more into like skate trainers, etnies and stuff like that. So I had a good few of them. The fatter the better. I loved how fat they were, and some of them were ridiculous. Some of the laces were like the size of, I don't know, they were so silly. But yes, it went from like them and DC and stuff like that. A lot of skate shoes. I grew up around like kind of skaters, BMXers, people playing in bands and stuff. So it was quite a similar theme around a lot of people. So it kind of just went like that way, I suppose, and then into a lot of the skate shoes and stuff. I kind of had a bit of break. I was listening to the last one, where was it? Jay Dolan, wasn't it? When he was saying he had a bit of a break. And I think that's a bit of a theme as well. I think life takes over at some point. You end up having a bit of a break. I did as well. I had a few years where I didn't really buy very many trainers. It was as and when needed, I suppose. And then it's just kind of grew from there. I don't actually really know like the date when, I suppose, but it's been a while.
I was going to ask you actually. So obviously you had a bit of a break, but like, can you remember the shoe that brought you back in then?
I don't actually think there was one. I don't actually think there was like a shoe that made me do it. I think it just kind of happened. Okay, that's so I suppose like for us, obviously we, like many people, didn't have a lot of money for a while, and then it's as kind of life got a little bit better. Shoes became a thing that is like, yes, all of those things that I lusted after for many years and couldn't have, now I'm starting to have. But I was just thinking if there was like one particular shoe. But when I look through your page, there's, as you say, there's no particular theme, but it sounds like the theme initially was the skate shoe, and then it's definitely you've probably got the broadest collection of anybody that I know from that I see on Instagram, and I'm kind of curious if there's of that, because there's such a broad selection. What would be, you think, at the moment, and I say this at the moment because there are always more shoes, what would be your most cherished shoe at the moment? I think I have a few for different reasons. I think obviously the Wotherspoons is definitely one of them. I didn't get that when it actually first released. My friend on Instagram, Werther on Instagram, he actually managed to get 2 pairs of them when they released. He camped out for them outside Offspring.
Okay.
And I think he won a pair on Nike as well. So he ended up with 2 pairs. And it took me a good year and a half of kind of moaning at him to be, why do you need 2 pairs? Why can't I have a pair? We can both have a pair. They look nice. And in our group chat, this has been a constant thing. Whenever it was mentioned, I would put this little gif of somebody crying, and it was the same gif every single time. Whenever that shoe was mentioned, I'd just put that gif in there. So I didn't even need words. He just knew I was upset about not having this shoe. It took me a year and a half to convince him, and it got to a point where he said, you know what, I'm gonna sell it to you. So he actually sold it to me for retail, which obviously he didn't have to, but yeah, he sold it to me for retail. So that's definitely one of them, because I really like the fact that he even did that for me. I mean, he could have made a lot of money, but he didn't. He chose to give it me for retail. The Converse clock collaboration is another one. Definitely, I absolutely love that shoe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the furry one, the high like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's gorgeous.
So nice.
The black pigeon is definitely another one.
Yeah, I'm not going to say how gutted I am about that again.
I know you're sorry of nearly buying them and choosing a Jordan instead.
What did I do?
I don't know. I don't really kind of have one. It's different ones for different reasons, I suppose. There's also this one's more sentimental, I suppose. I was with a girl for a long time, and we ended up splitting up. But the last present, I suppose, she ever bought me was a Nike Mock Tech Ultra. And I've never worn that shoe because of that. Like, it stays in my collection, but it's more of a sentimental thing more than.
For sure.
So so I have a few, I suppose, but for different reasons.
I think the interesting theme that I'm detecting from everybody, and this is the same with us as well, is it's more the story that surrounds the shoe, than necessarily the shoe. But I think that's, and I think everyone's the same, aren't they, SJ?
Yeah. So those are sort of your favourites. What are your current go-tos?
My 500s are my Converse. My like Chuck Taylors all the time. I love that silhouette, so I'm always going to wear Converse all the time. But a lot of the time it's a Yeezy 500. That's probably my favourite Yeezy silhouette, and I have like 350s, 500s, 380s, 700s. 700 V3s. Like, I have a good few different silhouettes, but for me the 500 is the best Yeezy silhouette, and I think it just suits everything. I love the chunky look of it. So that's my casual. If I'm just out and about doing what I'm doing, it's either going to be a Chuck Taylor or a Yeezy 500.
That's kind of that's
very polar opposite.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh yeah, well that's it. But I don't know. It depends, because I mean, a lot of people think I have a bit of a crazy dress sense, so I think it just kind of. I'm going to assume not laugh there, SJ.
It's not crazy. It's colourful.
I would say it's bold.
That's the right.
And I think for anybody who doesn't follow Andy on Instagram, you should do, because Andy not only has an amazing shoe collection, he has an amazing stance sock collection. Like, I'm trying to catch up, but I can't. There is a pair of socks for every shoe, which I'm getting to. It seems that way anyway, Andy. You definitely.
It's just the pants, the socks, and the sneakers.
Yeah, it rocks it.
Yeah.
Everyone is jealous. You know, like, in fact, I am wearing a pair of.
You've got your baggy pants.
I got my baggy pants on right now because I'm doing photos afterwards. For something else.
I think in my group chat there's certain clothes that we might put in. I'll go, oh, what do you think of these? And I think their way now of saying I don't really like them is they say, it's very you. And I think that's just their way of kind of saying, well, I'd never wear them.
They're just not bold or brave or like, it's, yeah. Anyway.
Actually, people say that to me. It's very you.
Yeah. And you say that about.
I don't know if that's like a compliment or whether it's just they don't want to say, oh, they're awful.
Yes.
But they know I like them, so I think they just want. Yeah, it's very you, that, yeah.
And in fact, you say that about shoes about me. They're a very you shoe.
Yeah, but that's normally when it's like a dunk or something that's...
Or a pair of Vans. Yeah, I do think it can be said in that way as well, because I've actually sent you things and thought that myself. I've seen certain pairs and I thought that's very SJ, or I reckon Mr. B will like these.
Definitely.
So basically, it's normally very you if it's sort of army colours with a bit of orange.
Yeah.
That's normally what I mean.
Yeah, that's true. I do like green and with orange. It's a random one. So I was gonna actually so like probably the most cherished shoe then, or close to it, is that Wotherspoon. I was going to ask you about what you think about what he's doing now.
Well, he's doing Adidas, and he's just done this A6 collaboration.
Yeah.
Now he's going over to Adidas. I don't think I necessarily rate him as much as I rate his shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like him, and I watch Round 2. I watch the shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't really consider him like a designer or a great designer. I don't hold him at the same place I hold like Jeff Staple or Jerry Lorenzo or even Virgil Abloh. Like, I don't hold him at the same like kind of status I'd hold them.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I guess I'm just waiting to see.
Yeah.
I expected corduroy when he was doing the A6 collab, but from what I've seen of this Adidas one, it looks like a very 80s. It just looks like a very 80s style. It's not kind of what I expected.
Okay, well, I suppose like he couldn't keep doing corduroy. Like,
no, yeah,
you know, I think the way that he did, obviously, that first shoe with Nike, and blending the different silhouettes, the different use of materials, like, I don't think it's hard to top that.
Have you actually seen the story of how that shoe was made?
No, I haven't.
There's a video on YouTube. I'll link it to you. It's very little was actually him, really. I think when it come down to it, he gathered so many people together, like as YouTube sneakerheads and reviewers and people he knew who were sneakerheads, and there was actually a whole team. It wasn't just him, and a lot of the ideas when you watch weren't actually his. A lot of the ideas were kind of given to him by this whole team of people. They decided, why don't we do a 97 with a one sole?
Yeah.
Or why don't we use this? Why don't we do the corduroy? Why don't we? I think the part I heard him actually choose is he said the yellow on the shoe. So I think there was actually...
Really?
Yeah,
it wasn't as big as his idea as I think it's come across.
This rings a bell because somebody on, I'm not going to say who it was, on Instagram kind of went off on a bit of a rant over that and the Adidas thing, which was quite amusing. I showed it to you. But didn't we go into one of his stores when we were in LA?
We did.
And it was like weird.
I think though, SJ, yeah, we did go into one of them, but you have to remember how overwhelmed I was being.
No. But it was just like his own merch, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that great.
I reserve judgment just because I can't remember, and I just remember that the day that walking down Fairfax and around Melrose, I was just like, I could spend all the money in the world. Yeah. So I suppose then, just because of your knowledge, what would you consider? I don't know how to frame this. I suppose, because I was thinking most underrated shoe, but I don't know whether that's underrated shoe that you have or underrated shoe just in general that people are sort of down on.
One I definitely think is underrated was the Reebok Adidas Insta Pump Fiora. Do you know when they did that shoe? Because I thought that was amazing. The fact that they'd used the old technology of Reebok Pump with the new technology of Adidas Boost and put it together on one shoe, and it's so comfortable. And I think people just completely slept on that.
Yeah, I think the Reebok Pump thing.
What? Come on, SJ, spit it out.
I'm not sure what to say. I think you
this is where you could drop it. It's very you.
I think it's more that when they were out at the time, and I vaguely remember them when they were out, I think if you weren't there and had the nostalgia for it and liked it at the time, I think it kind of passed you by when they did that collab. I feel.
I remember watching Saturday morning television. There was a competition on in the morning. I think it was Pat Sharp, but I'm not 100% sure. But there was somebody doing the Saturday morning kids television, and there was a competition as it came out. Like, you could design the shoe, draw a picture how you want it to be, send it off, and if you win a pair of them. So I remember sitting with my cousin and we drew this picture. We thought it was amazing and we sent it off to him, and then getting dead excited because we saw it in the background on the telly. It was like, there's my picture, and we didn't win anything.
Oh, I was waiting for and I designed the Insta Pump, actually. I
am
the designer.
I just saw it in the background.
That would have been the biggest revelation. Like, yay, we've got the designer of the Insta Pump and nobody knows. Oh, that's funny.
Oh no, yeah, I wish that had been something.
Sorry, we have a dog moving under the table, and you just want to chill out, mate. So, SJ, do you want to go into? Well, I suppose just because I don't know. So we talked about that being an underrated shoe, and you obviously you managed to get the one that got away. But what's the next shoe that got away that you now kind of, I don't know.
I have two that I really want in my collection.
Really?
That, one of them is just, there was always something, so I want to get this, but then something always pops up, and so that's been that one where I don't think it's that hard to get hold of, but it's just, I keep missing it, and that's the A6 Extra Butter Pretty Tony's, the Ghostface Killer collab.
Nice. Very nice.
I really want to get hold of them at some point. I keep missing it. Oh, actually, there's three. There's also, I also need the MF Doom Dunks. I really, really want to get hold of them.
Yeah, I think we all need to win the lottery.
Yeah, I think so.
Just slightly.
Well, that's it. I mean, I try to keep it a bit realistic because, obviously I want the OG Pigeon, but I haven't got 16 grand to spend on a pair of shoes.
Yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts.
And I'd really like to get the Ambush collaboration with Converse that came out. Was it when the day?
Was that a year or so ago?
Yeah, I think about 9 months ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also with them.
I'm surprised you didn't pick them up, actually.
I tried. I just tried and failed.
Okay. No, that's as I said, I would have had you down at least to get those at the time.
I think there was a few things as well around that time, and I think it was, I can't remember what else it was, but there was a few other pairs as well that was dropping around that time that I was trying to get. And I think I got them and didn't get this.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd sell out the way they sold out, though. I thought I'd be able to get hold of them. And I hadn't woke up early in the morning and gone online and tried to get them. I just kind of casually started to look, they came out this weekend and gone.
Yeah,
and I kind of wish I made a bit more of an effort.
That happens occasionally. You just, something's like, is it really 8 o'clock? Oh, crap. Crap. It's always 8 o'clock. How is the website?
I think certain retailers in the UK, though, are very good with certain things. I think some are a bit slack, but I think some are actually pretty good. Like, I think Offspring do things fantastic. Some people have a good opinion of Offspring. Some people have a bad opinion, but Offspring are actually very good, I think, at what they do and how they help people win the UK to actually kind of get the shoes that they want. Mm-hmm. They made a massive effort that they didn't have to do, I suppose, all these events that they do. And I feel they've kind of put a bit of a spark in the UK community, I think, and brought it together. Like, I've met a lot of people through the Offspring community, and I think it's overlooked, actually, how much they actually do for the scene in the UK.
I honestly don't understand how they do their raffles, and I just don't get it.
I knew that was going to be I knew SJ was like, I don't understand the raffle system.
I've asked several times and never get a response because it just makes
in what
no
sense?
Like, they say that I just don't get it. This Instagram thing.
You're so old.
I'm not old. I have notifications switched on and everything, and I'm never there on time or see what you're meant to do. So have you got the notifications for when they drop a picture? Get a notification. Yep, I get a notification.
See, that's quite strange.
And that's what I don't understand about it, because I get the notification and then it's like they edit their post or something, so that if they've asked you to do something, they're missing by the time I get there. Anyway, it's another story.
It's another SJ.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it's just to try and have to be fast, I suppose, because you probably imagine how many shoes they have.
Oh, for sure.
Compared to how many people are actually going to jump into the raffle. Some raffles are really probably only going to be open for 2 minutes at best, because in 2 minutes, thousands of people are already going to have entered for them. So
there's the challenge. I think that's the biggest challenge, and I totally get it. It's they're doing their best to try and get the shoes into the hands of people who aren't going to resell them.
That's it. They are massive on that. Like they're not. They want somebody who wants that shoe, wants to wear that shoe, to have them, not a reseller. And when they find out if somebody is a reseller, you'll never win again. Yeah,
exactly. So I commend them for that. I just, I don't know. They seem to drop the pictures whenever I'm in a meeting. It's just one of those things.
I've missed a good few through working.
It is what it is. But I think it hasn't worked for us, but I see lots of people sort of winning on there. So, at least it's not getting into the hands of the resellers, as far as I can tell.
That's it. And I think very few other retailers make that effort. Like if you think like Foot Patrol or JD Sports or Foot Asylum or Size, none of them really make the effort the way that Offspring do. Like, they'll do raffles or they'll sell shoes, but the extra mile that Offspring go, I think, it's appreciated in the community, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even bother with Foot Patrol anymore.
No.
It's just too... Yeah, it's just... No, I can't be bothered.
No.
Their website is horrendous.
Oh, completely. It's
really bad. And
again, I feel for any retailer who has to deal with all of the bots as well. I think even like I go a lot onto Bonkers, which is a German retailer, and that sometimes even them, and they've got all kinds of things to try and stop people going in. That falls over. Like Consortium, I think we talked about before, really struggles.
I think a lot do, actually, to be fair. I think even with the small, like Note, for instance, the skate shop in Manchester, I tried to get that pair for Matty IO. I tried to get him a pair, and I was literally sat waiting. I was already ready, waiting for it to come, and as it literally dropped straight onto it, and it just fell apart. The whole website just fell apart.
Snap. So I got to the actual basket, and I was in the process of just putting in my payment details, and it went down. I was lucky elsewhere. I managed to, I got them.
Well, I got to the point where, it starts telling you things. It's like, I don't know, click all the lights.
Yes.
So you click all the lights. Right, now click all the bikes. Right, there's all the bikes.
Yeah.
Click all the fire hydrants. Here's some fire hydrants. Can you find any buses? Here's some buses. Can you find a bicycle? We've done bicycles. Do bicycles again. Right, here's some bicycles. Is there a crosswalk? And oh my God, how long is this going on for? So I do the crosswalk, and then it says, oh yeah, there's none left. Oh, great. But at least you know I'm a human.
Exactly. I just had this image in my head of someone actually trolling. Like there is. I know it's automated, but in my mind, there's a person sat behind it. Oh, we're going to make him go one more time, and what else, and what else, and what else, just to see. But yeah, that's just the way my mind works.
Yeah, it's just a frustrating process.
It is what it is.
I know.
I suppose the follow-up question to that then, SJ, would be, and now she's giving me a funny look. So obviously we're talking about resellers. So do you? I was going to say, so do you use StockX or Go or eBay or anything?
No, I use none of them. I never pay resell for shoes. I say this actually. I paid resell on the Converse, but I only paid like maybe £30 more.
Oh, that's
and
not
I've
bad.
recently done it for the I won 2 pairs of I tried to go for all 3 of the Fear of God Converse, and I managed to get 2 pairs of the grey ones and none of the other 2. So I ended up paying resell on the white and black pair of the Fear of God Converse. Again, I only paid about £40 over retail. So it wasn't ideal, but I didn't really mind. It was a shoe I really wanted.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not into reselling. I don't sell trainers. I don't really buy trainers at resale. Like it's not I don't really like all that that's come along with it. You know how it's come a hype thing, and I noticed it. Obviously, I think we all have much more on dunks and the way it's gone with dunks. How 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we all could have just bought some dunks. It didn't matter which one was dropping, and everybody, dunks are dead. And I'd be thinking, great, because I'm just going to walk into the shop and go and buy the one I want. Exactly. And it was fine, and I could do that. The drop for them Strange Loves was ridiculous. It was.
Oh yeah, because you went to Note, didn't you?
Oh yeah, me and my friend Molly with a Y. She's on Instagram as well. Molly with a Y. Me and her actually went. We planned exactly what we were going to do. We were going to go there for the whole day. Took a bit of food. It was in our bags. We were literally ready, and we went the afternoon, like the day before. So we were going to go for a good 18 hours or whatever it was. And not to like stereotype people, but the people that were outside that shop do not wear that shoe. Not one of them who was in that line wore them shoes. Yeah. It was all double tracksuits. They were all sat outside, like with the cars and everything. I actually heard the first person in line, he told me he'd been there from midnight the night before. Wow. And he also told me he'd already sold that shoe for £300. So I worked it out, and he'd literally camped for about £4 on an hour.
I just don't get it.
It's not minimum wage.
No, that's it. He could have had a job and made much more money. He literally camped for nearly 2 days and made £4 or whatever it was an hour. And I was just, this is unbelievable, mate. Like, as if. Yeah. But I was lucky enough to win him on flat spot. So even though I didn't get him there, me and Molly had kind of stood down. We said, I don't even know if we're going to get these, you know. And she was a bit the same. It's like, do we really want to stand here for 18 hours or whatever it be and to not get the shoe? We decided, you know what, let's just go and enter every raffle and hope for the best. Yeah. She was unlucky she didn't win, but I managed to get a pair of them. So, and yeah, I didn't think I was going to until obviously I got the notification.
So you've obviously got them. So talk us through the materials, because I've not actually.
We haven't seen them in hand.
I haven't seen them in real life, and I haven't asked people that question.
They feel so premium. They should. We actually said this when I got them out and showed them. I said, I don't even know how these were £95 compared to a lot of the shoes that I've got. Mm-hmm. These, the materials on these, it's amazing. Everything feels premium. Everything about them. The velvet on them is gorgeous. It's just everything about the shoe. The shoe is gorgeous. It also puts in perspective, I suppose, how. If I can buy that for £95, why are some of the shoes that are much more expensive not the quality that these are? So this shows that they actually can do that. Oh, yes. You can make shoes with much better quality and sell them at that price.
Definitely. I think, I've said this many, many times. That's why I like SB.
In fact, we were looking at the Fear of God, the black ones that dropped into the app yesterday. And I said to you, are you going to go for them? Because they're like £300. And you were like, that's 3 pairs of dunks and some change.
And some change. That's like, that's 3 pairs of dunks, change.
It's mad when you put it in perspective like that, though, wouldn't you? How
crazy.
Yeah.
Like I remember you buying the Adapts when you did it because you wanted to like kind of see the technology and see what you thought of it. Well, I kind of wanted one in my collection. Mm-hmm. So I've got the Huarache pair. Okay. So I spent £300 on them, but I don't think I'd do it again.
And it's a lot of money.
It really is, and I'm glad I've got one in my collection, and I think it's a really nice shoe. Yeah. But I wouldn't do it again, I don't think. They can't release another colourway that makes me go, oh, actually, I'm going to, I have that Adapt now, I suppose.
I think, I think at the time I said this, I'm going to wait for the price to come down by half. I like the concept. I like the idea of the technology. I'm not a basketball player. The shoes they didn't look right on me anyway. In fact, we never put an on footer that out because they didn't look right at all. But I just love the idea of the technology. I think it's still I don't know what it's like in the Huarache, but I still think it's a good couple of years away. Before they go really all in, And
I don't think it'll get any cheaper, to be honest. It's not a shoe I've ever seen on sale, and I think if anything, they'll update the technology and they'll update the price while they're at it. I think it'll never get any cheaper, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just based on some of our conversations that we've had with other people about what we remember paying for stuff, I think I said in mine, I think my first pair of Air Max were like £65 or something ridiculous. And even my Air Max 97s, I remember them being like £90. So stuff,
really?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So stuff hasn't actually gone up massively over a huge time period. So they will.
That makes me sad.
I don't think that. I think Andy's right. I don't think that price is going to come down. It will either stay as is or creep up ever so slightly.
Well, they have certain ones they do kind of do that with, don't they? Like them Fear of Gods.
Yeah.
How standard straight off £300. I mean, the Yeezy 700 when that first came, £250, and at that point it's like £250. Like it's a gorgeous shoe, but £250.
It's a lot of money, and like it really makes it just makes me. It's not that I don't think about buying a Dunk. Like it's still a considered purchase, but when you're in the hundreds, you really have to want it. Like really, really, really want it, and it's like you know. And then as SJ was saying, like I then just calculate. So how many SBs can I get for that?
Or if you are okay with paying resale, if you're going to spend £300, there's probably a Dunk or something you've missed previously you could spend that 300 on that you actually probably wanted more than the curiosity of technology.
Exactly. In fact, there are many Dunks that I have earmarked across those different sites of yes, I should have got those many years ago.
So are you going in for those Fear of Gods, Andy?
I'm going to say no. I probably will. I can't be trusted. There's so many times and I'll say, I'm done me this month, and then I end up getting something else. Like I try and behave, and I just can't be trusted with my bank card.
I think we're all like that. It's but like there's worse things that you know. There are worse things that we could all have a passion about.
I'm really bad for a sale as well. I've actually on Friday I've just bought the Nike Fear of God mocks that came out.
Yeah.
Because they went to £60 on Offspring, and I generally felt like, do you know, like that saying where they say things like, you know, if you buy something for this much, you haven't saved that much money, you've actually paid this much money.
Yes.
But, and I see, oh my God, no way, they're £60. I'm so going to buy them. That's well cheap. I can't believe they've gone £60. And it's like, but you haven't saved any money. You've just spent £60. But I couldn't help it. I saw they were £60 and thought, yep, I'll have them.
Exactly. Oh, and to be honest, we're just the same. And I will spend hours going through the sneakers and stuff sale.
Yeah, but you very rarely buy.
I very rarely buy, but I'm looking, I'm hunting. That someone will have made a mistake and slipped a Dunk in there that I haven't seen, and they're like, and nobody else has found. Hey, that's how we found that the Sanko de Mayo Dunk on Welcome that had been sat there for like 15 years, all on its lonesome. And that's now very treasured. Very treasured. All right. So I think, you know, I'm going to let SJ.
So out of all of your sneakers that we see on Instagram, they always look in pretty pristine condition.
Yeah.
But have you got a pair that you truly regret, like really beaten so that they're proper worn?
Yeah, I've got a few actually. I've got a few recently. You know the Mars landing ones?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I've battered them. I've absolutely beat them up. Yeah, like they're beat up them. No. My black pigeons aren't in great condition, but I've got 2 pairs of them, so I'm okay. I have a pair put away.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Yeezy Zebras, they're not in great condition, so I'm kind of glad there's a restock with them. Yeah, I have some that I suppose I've never even really put on Instagram because I just wear them for work or for whatever it is I'm doing. So I have a lot of them where I'm just not really that bothered. Got a couple of pairs of Superstars I wear for work, or I wear whatever I want for work really. But like, yeah, the ones I'm not bothered about beating. I have a few actually. Yeah, I have a few. Couple of pairs of Nike Air Max 90s. I've beat them.
I'm still getting over the fact that you beat those Mars.
It just kind of happened. I wore them a bit. The material on them's really weird. I think it's like that weird plastic all-in-one kind of. Yeah. And I think it's naturally going to happen. I think if you wear them shoes, it's going to happen.
Which is why I just can't spend the money on Air Max anymore.
Yeah. I kind of regret not getting them at the time. I think. Didn't I pull them up on Instagram last week?
Yeah, somebody had them on and they look really nice. Maybe it was Andy.
No, they looked like they were in good condition.
You haven't bought a pair off since your Tokyos, have you?
No, I haven't bought a pair since the Tokyo Maze where the maize started to crack on the toe box, the first wear. So I was just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And then I suppose it's just that there's more blazers and dunks in the world that I will always be hunting for. So I've kind of tried to limit it now to just SBs.
That's I struggle doing that. There's so many bits of things I want. I like such a variety. I'm constantly looking at so many different things. But I have the staple one to go to. Like I'm always, whenever I really love Converse collaborations. I think for me, and especially last year and the year before, a lot of people, Nike are probably always going to make the shoe of the year and everyone's going to jump on it. But for me, Converse had the better year last year. Nike did exactly what I expected them to do. I expect you to drop a fire trainer. I expect you to do that. But I think the things that Converse pulled out the bag was amazing last year.
Did you get the Brain Dead collaboration? I can't remember.
No.
Because
I bought something else. When they came out, they were really nice them as well. But when they came out, I got something else. I can't remember what it was. Whatever else it was that came out that weekend, I ended up getting them.
Yeah, you're right. There was something else that weekend. But yeah, I didn't get them and really regret that because it was so nice.
So to spin that then, what would Nike have to do for
They'd
you?
have to do something that I don't expect them to do. They'd have to really blow it out the park because I expect them to have shoe of the year every year. I expect them to do a load of shoes that I like.
Yeah.
Not that I mean, and that's a big feat, I suppose, as it is. That's. But I expect them to do that. I don't know. It's become so normal for them to do that I don't really expect any different. So they did bring out a load of amazing shoes, but I expect them to. Whereas Converse, people undersell Converse. I think. I don't think people actually realise how good they are as a brand, and some of the collaborations and ideas that they have, I think, are amazing.
So what do you think of the that new sneaker that they've done with Tyler Creator?
The Golf Lafleur. Oh, the Giano, is it called or something?
Yes.
I can't think what it's actually called, but it kind of.
I think it's the Giano. I think
it kind of looks like a weird mishmash.
a dad shoe.
Yeah, but it's
Quite
kind
chunky, isn't it?
It
come out on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a dad shoe. Well, it kind of reminds me slightly of an Element React or React Element. I always get it the wrong way around, but with almost like a weird. I don't want to say a dunk sole, but it's
not a dunk sole.
It's not a dunk sole, but it kind of has. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the around the eyelets. It's the shaping of the way they've got that. That looks like the React, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It really does.
I like it, but it's not one of his better. I like it. It's nice that they've actually done something new, though.
Yeah, it's totally different for them.
But I like that new All-Star they've just brought out as well. You know, the one with the tongue's not connected, so it's kind of kept on with the lace, and it's got a little buckle.
I don't think I've seen
like
that.
A lace lock.
That sounds.
They've got them on where did I see them?
I have to go and look for that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look for them.
I think I saw them on Foot Patrol. Yeah,
Damn.
There was a black pair and a white pair. But they're really nice. My friend actually got a pair of them, and they look really, really good. Like, I really like the way it looks. And it's like a chunky low top, but it's not too chunky. But it just changes the silhouette. It just looks a bit updated and a bit smart.
That's interesting. So and the tongue isn't attached; it's just laced on.
It's do you know, kind of like the More Monies, the way it has that kind of the way they lace that on.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks a bit like that the way they've done it.
Okay. Huxley. Oh, the dog. Tail's going. The cables are going to fall over at any moment.
So out of everything that we kind of know that's coming up over the next few months, what is what's on your radar that's a must-have for you?
And I bet you've got a lot. I bet there's a long list.
To be honest, it just never stops.
All right then. What's the next thing then? You know, because it's likely to be in the next couple of weeks. Or
I'd quite like to get the Run DMC superstars that are coming out at some point. But that's more of a nostalgic thing.
Exactly.
I think, because of that kind of growing up and shell toes and loving Run DMC when I was a kid. So yeah, I think that's definitely one I want to get. I'm quite interested on these Asics that Wotherspoon's done. I'd like to get them. I don't think I'm too keen on the Adidas ones he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. There's just it never seems to stop. I'd like to see the rubber dunks that Virgil's doing in hand. I'm not sold on them yet, but I do like the fact that he's now kind of got his own silhouette instead of him just kind of redoing a silhouette Nike already have.
Yeah,
I do like that now he has his own. Like he's been trusted with it, I suppose.
Well,
because out of everybody who does that, there was only Virgil, wasn't there, who kind of there was only Jerry Lorenzo who got his own silhouette. Like
exactly.
And I do think with these designers, I think they should be giving them more. We all know a Presto, or we all know an Air Force One, and yeah, it's good for them to do something to them. But if these people are so creative, let them create, let them use the Nike technology and their designs and stuff.
Exactly. If you
kind of that, yeah.
I think, if you go all the way back, if you think about Tinker was obviously allowed to do what he did many times over in different ways. And it just makes me, I think we talked about this before. Nike are clearly looking for what is the next silhouette that's going to last, or like people are going to talk about in 30 years time, 40 years time. And the only way that they're going to find that is, I think, by allowing the people that they collaborate with to go wild like Jerry Lorenzo has. Now, is that a silhouette that we're going to talk about in, the ones that are coming out this week? Are we going to talk about them in 20 years' time, 30 years' time? Maybe not.
I don't think so, but I think it's the start.
Yes.
It's the start of letting people kind of design these new things. I mean, Nike, obviously, who is still doing things still to this day, and a lot of the stuff they do, they get wrong, I think. I see some of their shoes, I'm a bit like, oh. Like that Comme des Garçons one they did last year with like a tent over the top of it. I could not understand that. I actually saw it in hand, and I had so many questions. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know who allowed this to happen. I don't know. Somebody had to show somebody else that and say, this is what I've been thinking. What do you think of this? As the sample product, what do you think of this? And the person they showed had to go, that's amazing. We definitely need to mass produce this and send it out. Like, I just couldn't understand. Like, I looked at it, I was like, out of everything they've got, some of these most amazing silhouettes, and you're okay with this? You allowed this?
See, I think what happened is they told them the story first. They explained the concept, the story behind it. They took them on a journey, and then they showed it to them very quickly, pulled it away, and went, "What do you think?" And they didn't.
That must have been some crazy story.
Oh yeah, like I'm trying to imagine. I was trying to think of what the story could be in my head at that moment, but I'm not creative enough to be like with the flow straight away. Okay, right. Well, imagine a thing. And then what we're trying to do is to bring the sky closer to the person, but we want them to feel like they're out in the country. And also there's an urban environment that's flowing through, and so they really get the texture and the smells of the city, but they're protected from it with a cocoon. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you know when you go camping, you live in a tent?
Exactly.
So could your feet.
Exactly. Like this is the new millennia. This is, people want to feel the countryside. They want to be out there, and this enables their feet to actually be that.
This goes against stay indoors.
It does go against stay indoors, yes. So I'm not encouraging camping, by the way. Do what the government says.
Kanye gets to do this with Adidas all the time.
Oh, completely.
Kanye creates new silhouettes constantly, and each one of them, it's a brand new thing. Nike missed out when they let him go.
They did.
They were too stubborn to let him do things, and they didn't want to give him the credit or even the finances, I suppose, he deserved with this. And I think Adidas have completely reaped that reward.
Oh, completely. Which is why I think they're letting Jerry Lorenzo do his thing.
Yeah, I think they've in a way they have learned by their mistakes.
Yeah,
I think
completely.
There are other brands but people are naturally going to choose Nike. I think if you get that choice, do you want to do a collaboration with whoever? Everybody's probably going to choose Nike first. But if you're not going to have Nike, there's probably a lot of other brands waiting.
Mm-hmm. I think so. But that's a good thing for the industry, and that's a good thing for us as people who buy things. I think if I think actually probably the best thing for us all was Kanye going to Adidas, because that's re-sparked a thing, and I think that's brought more people into shoes, and I think the other thing is it's allowing more creativity elsewhere. I think the other interesting thing as well is, and I'm going to bring it back to Nike SB because I'm always going to do that. They seem to be going crazy as well.
Well, it goes both ways, doesn't it? Because we've got like the SBs, for instance. The Kardashians wear them, and now they just go up ridiculous prices. They're making it harder for us all as well, I think.
They are.
On that, and that's like. But I also don't understand who actually cares. I couldn't care what a Kardashian is wearing. Doesn't make me want to wear it or not wear it, so I don't understand the way that has so much to do with price. One of the Kardashians wore the Doom Dunks.
They did.
I've had my eyes on them for a while. I've always been like, I need them shoes. And then a Kardashian sat in a car or whatever she did was showed that she was wearing them, and the price went up crazy. And I was like, oh, thanks Kardashian.
But is the price going up? But are people actually paying those prices?
I think they are.
I think so, yeah, because I think this is the whole. A lot of people like what they're told to like, don't they? They don't really like what they like. So once that becomes a thing now, the Kardashians are wearing this. I think there's certain people who kind of follow them certain trends. Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder. I wonder what she'll wear next, and then we can all get back to the normal pricing of things. But to be fair to those Dooms, they were always pricey and have been for a good few years. I remember like for the box series a couple of years ago that the black box version of that is like is inspired by those Dooms, and I remember the pricing was still at the time more than I wanted to pay. For sure.
I was watching a pair on eBay, and I think it was about £390. I had this in my watch list for a long time.
Yeah.
The Kardashians did that, and it went up to about £900.
Oh my word!
Crazy.
That's insane.
So crazy.
That is absolutely insane. I won't. So I suppose actually that's a good way to. Then, if we're thinking about like what would you say then was the most extravagant sneaker? And actually, for you,
clothing.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that because I know SJ was going to pick me up on that, or clothing purchase. Like and then to add to that, what pushed you over the edge to actually make the decision?
I have. I think it's a Yeezy Season 4 or Yeezy Season 5 jacket that cost about £600.
And what pushed you? What pushed you to like go? I really need that. Really.
It was just something I had my eye on for a while, and I liked his like the mid seasons he did. I actually quite liked.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few things out of season 1. I liked the camo look that it kind of went for at the start, the military look.
Yeah.
I've got a few pieces out of 1. I think it could have been 2 or 3 I didn't really care for. I think it was just, I could have gone to Primark and got a big baggy white t-shirt. And then I think as the seasons kind of went on, I kind of started to like the cut of stuff. Like that jacket, it's weird because it's like baggy and fitted at the same time, which it sounds a bit weird, but it has its own cut, and I really like that about it.
That's
like what's it called? That something tree camo, real tree camo.
Oh, the real tree stuff. Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's I was looking at some AF1s in that. When was it? A couple of years ago. It feels like
I remember them. Yeah.
Yes. I really like that print. Really,
they did 2 or 3, didn't they?
They
like
did.
Different, the same shoe but different print. One was a lot lighter.
Yes.
Apparently, no 2 shoes were the same, was there? With them?
In theory, I tried on 3 different versions. I didn't pull the trigger at the time. I ended up getting the black
utility
AF1 utility, which was a good choice for me. I've worn those shoes into the ground. They're so creased, which people call me out on Instagram. So I suppose I'm going to throw the next question then to you. What would you?
To me?
Yeah, like it's funny because this, we've been talking backwards and forwards on Instagram and on the chat on YouTube for a good couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, is there anything that you ever thought, I'd like to ask them directly?
I don't know, because if I do, I kind of ask you anyway. Like, if there's anything I kind of want to speak to you about, I don't know. I'll message you anyway.
That's true.
Would you try? Like, I think you both, like you say, I don't really have like a theme of what it is, but you two kind of do have a theme. What would it take for you to come out of your comfort zone and try something different?
Well, I did. I've got like
the last couple of years of experimenting.
React Element 887s, which I should have gone up half a size. I've got 2 pairs of those. I tell you the weirdest thing. Well, this is not a weird shoe, but for me, it's a peculiar shoe. Is I've got one of those Human Race, and it's striped. It's a trail one, and it's blue, red, yellow, and white striped.
Is it is that the NMD or the tennis shoe?
It's the NMD. And that's probably as out there as I would probably go. And one of the reasons I wanted to get that, and I think I talked about this with Joe Dolan last week, I wanted to see what Boost was like. Like, I really was curious. I'd heard so many stories. So I think it's like, I think what would also push me to go, so I've tried different silhouettes. Like last year, probably my random shoe of the year was that
the Undercover.
Yes.
The Element Reactor.
No. Oh, brain having a moment here. See, it's Sunday afternoon and I can't think. No, the one with the Klingon, the fighting weapon.
The tail.
The tailwinds. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Now that has a big chunk of plastic on the back, and I absolutely love that shoe. Now, thinking beyond the traditional Nike, which clearly I generally, what would probably pull me over is if there was some kind of military theme and camo in some way, which is probably not stepping outside of my comfort zone, but is probably, I would do that and then move from there, I think.
I kind of see a lot of difference because in my group, I suppose, with us, we're all quite different. We have a lot of the things that we like the same of, but I do think we're all quite different in what we all actually, our core style, I suppose, is very different to each person.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Sakai is the only shoe that we all bought. I think the only one that we've all collectively, we all would like that. I think it's very rare we all kind of have that connection of that same shoe.
And that's a great thing. I think, that shows the eclectic and broad nature of collecting shoes or buying shoes. Like, I never thought I collected shoes until I had so many, and then I was told that I did, which was just a random thing that happened. But that's what I like about talking to people, is to just that there's a connection around shoes, but actually that's really, really broad. It's like music. Music is so broad, and you can like a little bit here and a little bit there, and there'll be other elements that brings people together. But I suppose we should let SJ try and answer the question.
Oh, that's quite hard. I don't know, because again, I did experiment with a couple of different styles, like the Element Reacts. I got that the wrong way around again.
Probably.
Which I actually recently sold on eBay, just because they were a bit too tight for me. But I don't know. I do feel that I'm kind of like a bit stuck in my ways now.
No, you've just got to look. You've just got to look, SJ. Andy, I interrupted you. So I was talking about the music, and you were going to follow up.
I'm not actually too sure what I was going to say.
Oh, dearie me. So I think, I don't know. What would be a good question to kind of finish up on a Sunday?
I do think what is quite good is I think a lot of the people who kind of watch the Pint of Stuff shows and stuff, I think a lot of people have kind of built quite a good relationship as well, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a lot of people speak. Like I speak to Toxic all the time. I think he's such a cool guy. Like I speak to him constantly.
Definitely. He's I think that's what we've been trying to do is just, we do our thing and hopefully people like what we vaguely do, but it's equally trying to build an environment where people can be who they want to be in the chat. And everyone just seems to be pretty chill with it, really.
Well, I think Pint of Stuff is actually one of the first UK consistent shows of that. I mean, I watch obviously a lot of them on YouTube, predominantly American, but I think Pint of Stuff is the first consistent UK version. Like I can think of others that have done a show here or a show there or this, but Pint of Stuff, I think it is the most consistent in the UK.
Oh, thank you. It's we try and do our thing. I think it's funny. I've said this before, but we feed off the energy that comes through in the chat, which sounds weird because obviously it's just a chat stream. But like we will be like, I don't know what we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah, or like, I think I said this on Wednesday or last week. So some days when I'm like, I'm just really not in the mood for that.
And then we get down here, we switch the cameras on, and suddenly it's like, everyone's in the chat, they're doing their thing, and it's like, and then an hour or so rolls by, and it's like, that's a good week this week. That's a good week.
I have like Molly watches. Molly with a Y watches Pint of Stuff as well. I mean, a few of my friends do, but Molly does. And I remember talking to you, and I said something in the chat when I was going to go on a date, but I ended up telling her that like I'm staying in because Pint of Stuff's on. And then I had to explain what Pint of Stuff was. Well, a couple of hours later, Molly must have, because Molly works in a bar as well, so she's probably finished the shift and she's come home and watched Pint of Stuff. And I get a message and it said, and she knows the girl as well, and she messaged me and she said, "No way did you not go on a date because Pint of Stuff was on." And I was like, don't tell her.
Oh, that is the best story that there's ever been around Pint of Stuff. That's so funny. So and like we try and do it every Sunday, even when we're traveling. I know it's a bit temperamental, although I won't be traveling until at least September, so we will be fairly consistent because of a company travel ban at the moment. Just given what's going on in the world, but yeah, it's like, and that's one of the reasons also we started doing the waffle on a Wednesday, which I know not everyone can always get to, but just so we've got that kind of a different type of connection. It's less structured, but more so people just come together in the chat and just do their thing.
I've not managed to catch one of them yet because I'm probably always working on a Wednesday with the shifts that I do. Wednesday is a day I generally end up in work, maybe even on a sleepover. So it's a long day for me Wednesdays. But I keep needing to catch up with it. But it's obviously with everything that's going on as well in the world at the moment, it's very, very busy. I have very little free time at the moment, so I can imagine. While a lot of other people have more free time, it's kind of took a lot of my free time up.
Yeah, it's just crazy times that we're living in at the moment. Yes, which I think
it's going to have more of a knock on as well with shoes. I've noticed a few things like Jordans, how they've all been put back and stuff. And I said, like, I think the longer this goes on, we're going to, like, at the start, they were already ready to release these shoes. So I think the first however many weeks, we didn't really feel it. It's just, these are coming out. The shops probably already had the stock.
Mm-hmm.
I think now we're starting to feel it, I think.
Yeah, no, it's, like, you just see that, even with what we buy, there's dunk releases that have been pushed back, or just the amount of dunks and or the scarcity of SB. Like, I wouldn't have expected the Blazers that we picked up, the Isle Blazers. I wouldn't have expected them to be as scarce as they were at the time, but they sold out. Now I know Flat Spot have restocked since.
Flat Spot have just restocked on the Safari Dunks as well.
They have
for a draw.
So it's weird times, but I think the other thing is I believe the factories in China and in Indonesia and in Vietnam,
haven't they reopened?
I think they've reopened. So I think the main factories have reopened. So I believe then it'll be the supply chain into those factories. So that will be starting to reopen as well. I think the bigger challenge then will actually be distribution over to Europe and to the US. And so probably we're feeling now the start of when China went into lockdown and parts of Asia. And so there'll be a period of time when there'll be scarcity. And then my own belief, and I don't know this to be true, is that when we start to slowly come out of lockdown, we'll still have distribution problems on this side. And so probably it won't be till, I don't know, the autumn.
I think it'll be interesting to see how, slightly going off piece here, but how it affects like real luxury brands where stuff is made in Italy, for example, where they've been shut down for 2 months now?
Longer.
It's
been longer.
Yeah, I think there will be a huge knock-on effect with a lot of stuff. I was actually watching something the other day where, no, sorry, I wasn't. I was listening to it. It was, Business of Hype, what Jeff Staple did
Yes.
on the podcast.
Yep.
And the one that he'd just done again recently with Jerry Lorenzo. And Jerry Lorenzo was saying how they decided to turn the factories into basically helping people get gowns and masks and stuff. So, because he said he still felt he had the responsibility to his staff. He didn't want to, none of you are now getting paid because we're not open. So he kind of turned it round and he's like, I'm still going to pay you, but we're going to make this. So he's kind of, and I think I noticed New Balance had done that.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
as
did.
well.
obviously
I think
Burberry did.
Barber
I
are
think
doing
Barber
it over
are
here.
doing it. I know some other American brands that aren't sportswear brands are doing it as well. So like the ethical brands like Reformation and Everlane have also started doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
It's just,
So I think it will have a knock-on effect. I think you're probably right. Probably will be autumn before we...
Could be longer, but then I suppose the other round, to follow on with that, with the way that retail is at the moment, what retail will be left, and then obviously just the wider economy. So it's a weird time to be in sneakers.
Well, I think we'll also have the other side. I think up until that point, I think we're going to have a few good sales.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
I think a lot of brands are probably panicking. They're not selling the amount they would sell. And I've kind of started to see little bits of that now where I've seen some really good sales. So I think that's going to kind of carry on for a couple of months as well. Like there'll be a few bargains to get.
Well, even Nike here in the UK had a sale that it's actually still on, isn't it? 25% off everything. And then in the US it was 30% because you got the US email.
I do.
So yeah, I mean,
Strange times. But so I suppose,
on that cheerful note.
on that cheerful note, everyone, I just want to thank Andy for joining us on Sunday.
Well, thanks, guys.
I'll drop a link to his Instagram. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm pointing down. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, it'll be in the description of the podcast, and you should go and check him out on Instagram. If you're definitely interested in a wide array of shoes, Andy's definitely your man. He's, if he's not got it, it's probably not worth picking up. Maybe. I might have oversold that, Andy. Maybe I might have oversold it. Anyway, everybody, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Again, as I say, thanks for Andy. And I suppose I should probably press the button to take us out.
But thanks for listening to Sneakers and Stories.